This is your weekly trip to paradise, Louisiana style, with Gary Risponi and Don Dubuque. Paradise, Louisiana is presented by Demco, your Touchstone Energy Cooperative. Pods, moving and storage solved. Baton Rouge Coca-Cola Bottling Company. Benny's Car Wash and Oil Change. Louisiana Fish Fry Products. And by CCA Louisiana and the CCA Louisiana Star Tournament.
Hey, welcome to Baton Boudin, Cajun Meats, and Don. And we are, look at what they got out here for us.
Hey, holiday edition, it's holiday time, and if you think this looks good, we got in there sausage and those famous pepper cheese stuffed chicken wraps. And
Boudin balls.
Boudin balls, ooh, that does look pretty, doesn't it?
Everything looks good, and it smells good.
I don't know if I can keep you from tearing into that before the show is over.
You're not going to
I'm going to do my best. We got to move on now.
As soon as we move on, but they say, let it snow, let it snow, let it snow.
Yeah, we had it.
Look, some of the pictures I got, deer, they look like they were coming from Colorado or North Dakota somewhere. There's snow in the background. Made the deer move. The redfish didn't slow them down.
No.
Speckled trout, it hurt them a little bit. Even went out in the wind. So a lot of it's based on the weather. We got good fishing and hunting reports coming up, and we got a lot of seasons coming up. Going to be starting soon. So
it's kind of a shame that the busiest fishing and hunting times of the year coincide with the busiest holiday schedule, where people are going to parties and traveling and visiting friends and family. It all happens at one time.
I know, and you do it with the family, but I wouldn't give it up because we got the kids there.
Sure.
The kids can't always go to camp. We can sacrifice, one weekend for a Christmas party or being around there. It's nothing better than Christmas to me. So I'm looking forward to it. And Don, I'm looking forward to right after Christmas because I got a bunch of hunts and fishing trips set up. A couple of them were canceled. I'm going to be making a trip in a week or so with Mr. Nicky Savoy. Savoy won that big redfish tournament, and you're going to see how he did it. And we're going to go down there to where he lives in La Rose, and we're going to be with the Tito man. I was supposed to have that footage for you this week, but Tuesday and Wednesday wasn't a good day to be on the water.
So for Nicky, there was life after football, huh? Fishing life, right?
I tell you what, he is tremendous.
A great
big
football
guy
player, too.
But he's tremendous fisherman. He's always in the money. So we got the H&H fishing and the rodeo report.
Tough tournament for the kayak guys. We'll talk about that.
They tough, and then.
Well, we got a lot of news items. We got a new fishing spot for you. Well, not really new, but an improved fishing spot in Cocodrie. If you fish down there, CCA's building a reef. We're also going to tell you how to get your items on the calendar. This is the time of the year. If you're planning out your event for your organization for next year, we'll tell you how you can get that to us. Also, we have the hunting report. As you mentioned, a lot of deer pictures coming in. We're in almost a peak of deer season. Most areas are either at the rut or in pre-rut right now. Also, we're going to do a little feature on how to send those photos and how to get good video if you're an amateur from some of the pros. Chris Lecoq, our professional photographer and editor, is going to come sit in and give us a few tips on that.
Well, besides that, it's Christmas time. You got family pictures, so you can carry them over and use them for when you take family pictures, any picture. Because when you take a good photo, there's nothing better.
Yeah. Can't do much when you got an ugly family, though, huh?
Yeah,
I
love
the best
them all.
you can. Huh?
Just think how people felt in my family. I still feel love. I ain't never been too pretty.
All right, we also got the Berkeley Abu Garcia Fishing Report. It's all coming up from Bergeron's Boudin, Cajun Meats and Restaurant. And you're watching Paradise, Louisiana.
I can't help it. Don't tempt me like that.
Stay tuned for more Paradise, Louisiana. Voted Best of Louisiana Outdoors 3 years in a row.
'Twas the night before Christmas, and out in the yard you stumbled upon a Benny's gift card. The most versatile card around is such a treat. A gift to make their car spiffy, sparkling, and neat. With a Benny's gift card, there's so much to do. So gift a card for them and get a free car wash for you.
Pod's moving in storage.
I need to clean out my study.
We'll deliver a container.
My brother-in-law's moving in.
Maybe he'll help you pack.
He's lazy.
we can refer some professionals.
It's just until he finds work.
We can keep things at our storage center for as long as it takes.
I am not happy about this.
Or you can keep your things on site for quick unloading.
Did you say freeloading?
I said unloading.
I heard freeloading.
I'm sure you did.
Store on-site or let us drive your things to our secure storage center. Pods, moving and storage, solved.
Welcome to the news segment of Paradise, Louisiana. Some really good news today, Gary. CCA announcing the expansion of the fishing reef over near Cocodrie. And you know, those reefs have been quite successful, and what a great partnership that is with CCA and Shell and the other partners that help make that possible.
Chevron, bunch of them.
Wildlife and Fisheries all participate in it.
And the expansion, you know, is one that's been there. I think it's been there, one of the oldest ones
it
that's
is.
been there. The Lake Pel, out of Lake Pelto. Looking forward, it's starting already. And you never know.
And I believe CCA, if you go on their website, ccla.org or .com, you can find the coordinates to get out there if you're not familiar with those places. So kudos to CCA, Shell, Wildlife and Fisheries, and all their partners in getting that reef expansion. If you're going to be fishing out this time of the year, unfortunately we had some sad news. Boating accident by Pigeon. 2 men went overboard. One was able to swim to safety. He had to be freezing. It happened at night. He wasn't picked up till 5:30 the next morning. He made it to his camp and he waved down a passing boater. The other gentleman, probably hypothermia, haven't got the final result of the cause of death as of now, but you got to think, falling in the water, as cold as it's been, neither man wearing a personal flotation device, and I think all of us are lax in not wearing those PFDs and life jackets, whatever you want to call them, all the time. But this time of the year, you got to wear that. If you're duck hunting, if you're fishing in cold weather, winter time, you never know when something's going to happen, and it can happen so quickly. And if you've ever been in ice cold water, it takes your breath away. You cannot function.
That's right. You've only got so many minutes, and that's why a lot of people survived over there by fighting and keeping warm and till they get to the bank. But we're a little phony. I got to admit. I preach life jackets, and I don't do it. But like you saying, and when we duck hunting, the water is that deep sometimes. Okay. Mm-hmm. But if you fall, or if you hit something and you fall down that water and you hit your head, right, unless your jacket will hold you up where at least you can breathe till you find you. But I don't know what it is about being in a bay boat and them. They got them in the boat. They might not be as comfortable as you can do. But I admit sometimes I don't wear them in a bay boat. I wear them constantly in a bass boat, or if I'm hunting cold and I got boots on.
Or if you're alone.
Definitely.
Definitely if you're by yourself,
yeah,
at all times, because you got nobody to help you. You fall away from the boat.
Till a motor,
yeah,
you definitely ought to have
remember
a
your kill switch.
bat toe tilt, fall over.
Make sure you got a working kill switch too. All right, so much for that. Some more good news. Whooping crane population. Those very unique birds were native here in Louisiana back in the 1950s. They went into extinction. We have brought them back with the help of Louisiana Department of Wildlife and Fisheries, Chevron Corporation being one of the major sponsors. There are 12 more now juvenile whooping cranes that have been added to the flock. Part of them are near Jennings. The other one are up by Rockefeller Wildlife Refuge. These additional 12 brings to an estimated population now of 72 whooping cranes in Louisiana. Great opportunity to see those majestic birds.
And they go remind everybody, you shouldn't be shooting any crane, you know. They look a whole lot different than a goose. A goose is more big-bodied, no long neck. So, you know, you got the conservation order, a lot of snow geese. They don't look like any other thing but a crane.
And if you don't believe in conservation, don't shoot them because the fine is enormous for a whooping crane.
Yeah, you better believe it.
All right, talk about getting your calendar items into the Advocate. The Advocate newspaper is a very good source of season dates, tournaments, rodeos, meetings, different events related to the outdoors, and people need to get their information to the paper now.
That's right. The deadline is December 22nd. That's to get, it don't matter if you got a date next December, whenever your dates are, you get them to Joe, because it works as a clearinghouse. It helps, I know I go to it every week, and Joe's been doing it, and he's still doing it, so for some reason, I guess he's working on contract, he's supposed to be retired, but Joe and them, he put out a note. Some people say you can email, I thought you could go to outdoorsattheadvocate.com and just send that, and Joe will pick it up. But whatever you do, try to get it in by December 22nd. It'll be published in the Advocate. It'll come out in the paper, and it'll be on their website Thursday, January the 4th. So it's a great tool in the world. When you and I fuss about people having events on the same day, before you set an event, check that calendar out. Be surprised. So it'll increase your people at your event, and it'll also keep them from having conflict.
And don't forget to send them to us here at Paradise, Louisiana. Just simply email it, gary@paradiselouisiana.com. And what you need to include when you do these releases, by the way, the event, the name of the event, the date for sure, the time, the location, a contact person's name or email address in case there are questions, and as many details as you can
And most
provide.
of them got a flyer. You send me that flyer,
Right.
but like you said, at least 3 weeks in advance to give us a chance to put it on for a couple of weeks.
All right, up next, the H&H Tournament Report will tell you about one that took place in the snow. A very difficult tournament, but several anglers came through. Right back with that on Paradise, Louisiana.
Feels good in my heart and my soul when you hear my desire. I don't even want this day to taste the feeling.
Hi, I'm John Jackson, and you know we always say we gather our groceries out the bayou. Whether it's freshwater, saltwater, catfish, redfish, you have tons of choices when it comes to fish in Louisiana. But when I fry fish, there's only one choice, and that's Louisiana fish fry. My new favorite, the Cajun fish fry, has the perfect amount of cornmeal, corn flour, and the perfect mix of spices that really bring the heat. Hey, if you're craving Cajun, go look for the bright red bag at your local grocers. Bring home the taste of Louisiana with Louisiana Fish Fry.
Welcome to the H&H Tournament Report. Gary, tournaments this time of year, not so many, Be coming up though, especially the Bass
Oh,
Circuit
in
will be kicking off
January.
in January. We know that's going to be here. But they did close out the Bayou Coast Kayak Fishing Club Tournament Series with a championship tournament.
First one.
First one
they ever had.
down in Cocodrie. And boy, they were greeted by stiff winds, some
is
freezing
unbelievable.
temperatures, and I believe there were 29 contestants who braved it. The way it was set up was a combination. You got to bring in 5 speckled trout, 2 slot redfish, and the combined total weight took it. And to my surprise, I talked to Brendan Bayard with the Coast Kayak Club, and he predicted, we thought somebody's going to stumble on some speckled trout, find a deep hole, and catch them, but nobody caught a speckled trout the whole
Not
time.
a one. You should have been a champion when you did that. And that had a big speckled trout. But first place was Chuck Beheim, 14.82 pounds. That's 2 redfish. That's not bad. That's over 7
Pretty
pound
good.
average.
He had the big one too, I think.
Yeah. Yeah, the big one's 8.48. He had the big fish. The second was Lee Melvin at 13.55 pounds. And third, guess who?
Our guy, Caleb Johnson.
Caleb Johnson with 12.70. And I can imagine those conditions with that snow. But it was funny. When it was at my house, I stayed hemmed up in the house. I canceled everything. I was watching football games and high school football games. It was on TV, thanks to CST. I watched them all. There was some great athletes. Some of them I know are going to be coming to LSU, and some of them are Nichols, Southeastern, McNeese. Some of them I'm scared are going to be going out of town, though. That's what makes me sick. But going back, it wasn't no wind. The snow was falling and falling. It wasn't blowing. The wind wasn't blowing. I went outside. It was beautiful. Some of the kids were out there. We took some pictures with newborn babies in my family. Didn't leave them out there long, but got them out there. It's something they can look back out when they were 3 weeks old, 3 days old, one of them.
One of the things that somebody mentioned to me, I was at a hunting camp in the snow, and it was pretty thick. We had about 4 to 5 inches on the ground, and the trees were flocked, snow was everywhere. That the sound is magnified in the snow. It's almost like, and if you've never been in an insulated recording studio for radio or television, that's kind of what it sounds like. It's just very still, very quiet, and the sound kind of reverberates back, and that's from that snow.
I know, but when that snow starts melting, it's worse than the rain, because you think you're going to go
quick.
out there and you're in the woods. Gary Krause and I did on that rabbit hunt up in North Louisiana, and then I went out to get the mail. The sun was shining and everything. I got wet. I should have brought an umbrella because all the trees there were melting and they were falling off. So you got to do it. But it's not often South Louisiana, but I tell you what, when it happens, only thing bad about it is a lot of power outages.
Yeah, well,
It
the
was
trees,
cold.
get the weight on the limbs and they're breaking. If they're not trimmed around the power poles, you do lose power, and it ain't the best time to lose power when it's freezing. Before we move off this tournament report, something needs to be talked about. A lot of people by now know there was a cheating event that took place in a kayak tournament. Someone digitally altered the photographs to make it look like, altered the ruler size to make it look like the redfish that would have won a $2,500 kayak looked bigger than what it actually was. The individual admitted to it. He was very lucky, I think, in that the kayak club and also Massey's, who sponsored a catch, photo, and release tournament, decided not to press charges because we've got a statute in the Louisiana law. If you are caught cheating, it's called a fraudulent hunting or fishing contest entry, and if it's an amount of $2,500 like this kayak or more, that is considered a felony, and you can be charged with that. And it's happened. We've had cases of that have gone through, and people have been convicted of fraudulent hunting and fishing contests. And I was thinking about that doing this Cocodrie tournament. Here it is, it's brutally cold. People are out there, just fishing their heart out, putting up with the elements, and then here you got somebody that just cheats to win a thing like that. That is pretty well despicable, and this individual's
It's
been
really
chastised.
over my
he's been
head.
punished.
I don't know how them tournaments work with the photo contest, but
Well, basically, you catch it, you take a photo next to a ruler, you release the fish. You turn your photo in as the entry, and it's a measurement thing, it's not a weight thing. Well, he altered the ruler digitally to make it look like a 41-inch redfish was a 44-inch redfish, which would have won the kayak for him. And he was busted, and then he finally admitted that he had done it. So that he's been banned from tournaments and kicked out of the club and a lot of other repercussions. But
Anybody-
he's very fortunate that he
How big?
wasn't
How big?
criminally prosecuted.
Anybody kick his ass?
Well, I don't know about that, but he
Santa
didn't. He
Claus.
didn't walk away with the first place prize. That was not awarded to him. So anyway, that kind of brings up another topic for another day. You know, all these fishing tournaments and rodeos and big buck contests and big turkey. Do they really have a positive or negative effect on those industries and on those sports? Because it does promote and motivate people to
something
do
good
things
for
they
your
normally
that's
would not
something
do.
good for your radio
We're gonna
show.
talk
But it
about
bring
that
up
in
a good idea, because our next feature is about how to take that picture the right way.
The right way, yeah. Don't alter it.
And give honor to your harvest.
We'll do that, plus our Paradise, Louisiana hunting report, and that'll be followed by the Berkeley Abu Garcia fishing report. We're at Bergeron's Boudin Cajun Meats and Restaurant in Port Allen, where you're watching Paradise, Louisiana.
The best part about being a member of a Touchstone Energy Cooperative is that it's your Touchstone Energy Cooperative. That's the power of your co-op membership.
Demco, your Touchstone Energy Cooperative.
Hey y'all, it's Sam Barbera. I'm with the Louisiana Wildlife and Fisheries Foundation. The foundation is a nonprofit that raises funds and provides support for the Louisiana Wildlife and Fisheries Department. We assist with numerous projects like black bear, whooping crane, bald eagle, as well as family, youth, and women's workshops. For all of the information on the foundation, visit lawff.org. We need your support to help our wildlife and fisheries. Visit lawff.org.
Pause moving and storage.
We just sold our house.
Congratulations.
We have 2 weeks to move.
We'll deliver a few containers.
Our new home's not ready.
No problem. You can store things with us while you're between homes.
We might need help.
We'll refer trusted packers.
We'll be staying at my brother's.
Well, that sounds...
He has kids of his own.
Well...
5 of them.
Ma'am?
Help.
Trust us for local and long-distance moving and store at our storage centers. Pods, moving and storage, solved.
Welcome back to Paradise, Louisiana. With me is Chris Lecoq, our photographer, editor. And Chris, you get a lot of photos and videos sent in. Some good, some not so good, and some really pretty bad. So in an effort to try to help people get good photos, take good photos and video, we decided to offer a few tips. As far as the photographs go, lighting is usually a problem when they're taking photos. You want to make sure that the sun is in the face of the person that you're taking the picture of. Keep the sun at your back, that way they get it lit up real well. Fishermen and hunters always have hats on. Ask them to cock their hat back so you can see their face light up. Position the trophy, whether it's ducks or deer, in a very respectful manner. You got to remember, not everyone watching this program is an avid hunter, and sometimes people can get turned off when they see deer tongue sticking out, blood, open cavities, and try to get the trophy shot in its natural setting. It always looks better if it's in the woods or in the natural habitat where the animal was taken. Hold it up so it does look respectful. I certainly don't ever like to see, animals hanging by their hind legs with the cavities open and blood all over the ground. And to people who are into hunting and they butcher deer, there's nothing to that. But you got to be sensitive of other people's feelings, because it's going to come back in terms of people who are not opposed to hunting, not having quite so favorable opinion of it when they see things like that. Fish pictures, live fish will beat dead fish every time. I'm not so against a lineup of fish because it shows what you caught, but holding up a fish on the boat, in the surf, with the water and the horizon in the background, it's always a much better shot. And for some reason, fish just always look better when they're still alive and not a dead fish. They've got some life to them and motion. And, you know, those are pretty much the few tips I say. Of course, when you're taking, just like in video, when you're taking something with a cell phone, which most people do now, explain why you should shoot it horizontally as opposed to vertical.
You hear us saying this all the time. Turn your phone horizontal. And for TV purposes, if you look at the shape of your TV on the wall, it's a horizontal shape. It's not a vertical shape. So if you take a picture like this and put it on TV, you're going to have big black bars on either side of it. And there's ways you can blow a photo up, you can make it bigger, but then you detriment the quality of it. So that's why you always want, if you're sending a picture in for TV and you intend us to use it, turn your phone sideways. It'll be the best quality that we can use, along with some of the things you said. Be mindful of where the sun's positioned. But it's a double-edged sword sometimes, Don, because sometimes you'll get people squinting, and you know, you don't always want to have people squinting. So kind of keep in mind whenever you're taking a photo how it looks if you intend to send it in. Another thing too I want to add to that is make sure, of course, there's no shadows on your face, but a lot of times you'll see people that take a photo underneath a awning or a roof or a campsite, and the person will be in the light, but the fish will be in the shadow. So always make sure your subject and your animal or your fish are always lit up.
And as far as, you know, now with modern technology, the low cost on good equipment, a lot of people are taking their own videos so that they can kind of preserve the hunt. Some people set up GoPros on their boats or on their deer stands. Tell us about the use of a GoPro, because you've used that a lot, and also now more and more people are getting into use of drones.
Yeah, drones is that's a whole discussion for a whole another day, but I know a lot more and more people are using them. With a GoPro, there's a couple tips I can give with a GoPro. What I like to do when I'm in a boat is I use a clamp. I like to use a clamp a lot. That way you can move it to different, not always the same angle on the boat. So if you have it set up, you catch 3 or 4 fish and you want to move it to a different angle of the boat, get another look, it's almost like you have a second camera in the boat, but it's the same one. A tip that I want to give for GoPro, this is kind of like for editing purpose. Gary Krause, who helps us out a lot on this show, gave me this tip before. A lot of people set their GoPro up, they turn it on and just let it run, for an hour and a half at a time. And then when you go back and you're looking at that video, you have to look through a whole hour of video to find the couple shots you want. So the tip that Gary gave me several years ago that I still use all the time is whenever you have your GoPro running, let's say you kill a duck, you catch a fish, turn it off, turn it back on real quick. And that way when you look at the files on the computer, it's going to create a new file. So the file at the very end of this file that it just created is going to be the action that you're looking for. And that's kind of a good tip for editing purposes if you're looking at GoPro video.
One last tip that was passed along to me a long time when I first got into TV. A very wise editor told me one time, 2 things you can't go wrong with, and that is kids and dogs. So make sure you take a lot of pictures and video of your best friends that when it comes to hunting or fishing, your hunting dog and your kids.
I want to add something too, Don. A lot of times we get pictures of people taking their phone and they got their finger halfway in front of the screen. So be mindful of where your hands are, your fingers are in the phone, and because we don't want to see fingers covering. And then leave enough space above and on top of the photo, because you never know how it's going to fit on a TV screen. Sometimes the position of the picture, I might have to make it a little bigger, a little smaller, and you don't want the person's head to be at the very top of the picture. You want to make sure that we're not going to cut their face off or the top of their head off.
And another very simple thing, what you see is what that picture is going to be. Look at it, see how it's framed, make sure there's not a lot of clutter, things that would distract it. I mean, guns or vest and things laying around in the scene. It's just you and the fish or the game makes a much better picture.
I want to say one of my pet peeves, I know fishermen like to do it a lot where they hold the fish out real far.
Yeah.
And sometimes you can tell if a fish is being held out real far how big the hand is in comparison with the person's body behind it. But Mr. Tommy Vadrine, that you've seen on this show several times, big speckled trout fisherman in Grand Isle, he showed me a trick one time where if you hold the fish in his back gills, kind of where the fish masks your hand, you can hold it out to where your hand's not blocking the fish. Not only does it give the fish impression that it's larger, but it also shows the beauty. You're not blocking any of the color of that, speckled trout or redfish, whatever you're holding.
Good display. Good tips. Send them to us, Gary at ParadiseLouisiana.com. We'll be right back with the Berkeley Abu Garcia Fishing Report on Paradise, Louisiana.
'Twas the night before Christmas, and out in the yard you stumbled upon a Benny's gift card. The most versatile card around is such a treat. A gift to make their car spiffy, sparkling, and neat. With a Benny's gift card, there's so much to do. So gift a card for them and get a free car wash for you.
Feels good in my heart and my soul when you hear my desire. I don't even want this day to taste the feeling.
Ask me about my Tempur-Pedic.
Ask me how fast I fall asleep.
Why not talk to someone who's sleeping on the most highly recommended bed in America?
Ask me about staying asleep.
Tempur-Pedic owners are more satisfied than owners of any traditional mattress brand.
Ask me how it feels after 10 years.
Tempur-Pedic, the most highly recommended bed in America.
Ask about Tempur-Pedic at Olin's, where you know you always get the guaranteed low price. Olin's is the only store in Baton Rouge and Lafayette with the full line of Tempur-Pedics.
Welcome to the Paradise, Louisiana Hunting Report. This time of the year, Christmas, New Year's, this is the peak of Louisiana hunting, and we've got a lot of seasons that are reopening.
Yeah, right now, the conservation order, by the way, it'll still be running, and it's going to run through this weekend, December 15th, that's Friday. Then we open up, all three zones are open up Saturday, December the 16th. The coastal zone and them are going to run through January 21st. The east zone is going to run all the way to January 28th. The geese, the red geese, December 16th to February 11th statewide. And that's speckled bellies and the Canada geese, the lesser Canada, all of them will be running through them. Your rabbit, squirrel, and quail, just like always, in neutral, they're going to run through February 28th. They're going to stay open to February 28th. Probably after the first year, we got too many deer seasons for me to mention in so many areas. So you can go to Wildlife and Fisheries website and pick them up, or any of the magazines that put them out, the Sportsman magazine. But I'm just going to tell you this. You also had the rut for the deer seasons. Y'all ran a calendar.
Yeah.
It works out really good for people deer hunt. But listen, the rabbit hunters right now itching to get in the woods. They got some Wildlife and Fisheries have altered a few things so these people can go and hunt. Don, Chris he's cheating. He's finally eating a few cracklings and stuff like that.
Yeah, but he's not on this side of the camera. He can do that.
Oh,
he's
okay.
not talking,
but
so
he's hurt
good.
us.
He's
me
okay.
and you, I don't know about you, but it's hurting me. But look, you got, let's say rabbit hunters are dying to get in the woods, so some of those clubs are making efforts to let the rabbit hunters go in there, and deer hunters are getting out, killing their limit or whatever. So woodcock, that's your baby. Yeah, I don't know, but well, you're getting some great reports. Woodcock opens December the 18th. That's this coming Monday.
Right.
Through January 31st. So that's a big one we're looking for. And doves. People live December 17th through January the 15th.
And don't forget that endangered species, quail, is still open if you can find some outside of the hunting preserves. There are plenty of them there.
Right. You got all preserves, and that's the seasons now. Let's hear about the people who've been having some success here. I got some deer that came in, the mother first deer. That's what I like to hear. The young kids with first deer. Seth Amadee was fishing with his granddad, had his brand new 243. Thanks to his granddad, Randy Dago, sent me that. Brian Hutchinson, big friend of ours at United Equipment, he got out there and killed a nice, he called a snow one in Norwood. He said they finally started showing him. He spotted about 6 deer, and so far in the season before that snow, he ain't seen one.
Easy
he
to
saw
spot
6.
in the snow, aren't they?
He
They stand out.
I know. Well, he said he got camp meat. He wasn't big enough to harvest that, but they need a little camp meat. Christmas time coming up, make sausage, whatever you want to do it. I don't know how you can beat Bad Dog, though. You making sausage, you keep coming over here. You got everything, anything you want, meat. Christmas parties, camp parties. I know I got to get through, Don. You told me to hurry up. Kay Leader, 11 years old, killed his 4th deer already in a Marpaw swamp. And if you look at this picture, that's why I said, looked like they were in Colorado or South Dakota somewhere. He's a student at St. Teresa and Gonzales. And it's just a beautiful picture. And our friend Brett Rollins took advantage of the split. He hunted in Callahoola Parish and killed this beautiful deer right here.
He's on a roll. Way to go, Brett.
If y'all want to know who Brett is, that's the younger, bigger brother of Lynn Rollins, the voice of the Tigers, best broadcaster in the state of Louisiana. That's what I got on that now.
All right, speaking of duck hunting.
Yeah, I'm ready.
We got the season reopening in all 3 zones this Saturday, December the 16th. You going to be out there?
No, I might go that morning close. I'm going to go with my brother, run down to Slidell and hunt around me, but I got that Christmas party Saturday night, and nothing takes away from my Christmas party. It's a family, all the brothers, all the kids, nephews, about 80 of us.
I'll be in my duck blind in the radio station. I got a little blind built there.
Yeah, you be ready?
Yeah, we'll be hearing them. We'll be hearing them out in the blinds. We'll get reports coming in.
All right.
And I think the reports are going to be good.
Right.
All of this cold weather, snow.
What are some
up
of the
north
reports
today.
that you get?
Birds have got to be flocking in. Well, nobody went out to hunt, and with the weather we had last weekend, there wasn't a whole lot of people just willing to go run around and scout early in the morning when you had snow and freezing temperatures. So
there was a lot of people, though. A lot of reports.
Yes.
Wildlife fishers have got to fly out. We'll hear more about that next week, along with the report. I'm sure Saturday morning you're going to have them all there at Duck Central. But we hear from people saying ducks are showing up, especially up in the north now. Wayne Amato, Rick Capo, Steve Anderson, and all those boys, and Wayne's son, Dean, they got a certain place they hunt. We used to hunt the timber, but they've been hunting the fields, been all the speckled bedders in there, and mallards showed up. That cold weather pushed them in. They sent me this picture in this big long barn they got over there not far from DeWitt, Arkansas. This is where they had it. I thought somebody shot us. That's what's good about being in a place of business, though. Well, we ain't by ourselves. I love it. Let me tell you this, though. That's some beautiful speckled bedders, and Wayne's one of the best callers around. Can't beat him. He's real good. And that makes a lot of difference on the speckled bedders.
One more thing on duck hunting. If you're going to be going out late season like this, the later you go, the better chances you got of getting a really pretty bird to mount. If you're looking to get like a pintail or a wood duck or even a mallard, typically you're going to find them in their full winter plumage the later you get into it during a cold year like this. So good luck on that.
Yeah, and I'll tell you, I may find my paper. I don't want to miss no Bobby. Bobby Black, my good friend, you've hunted over there, up there at Tensar, his lease. They're not in the fields, but you will not believe the ducks that are in the breaks right now. Same thing come from Kobe Daniels. Kobe told me, he said, Mr. Gary, we're killing birds. But it's unbelievable, the gray ducks and even the mallards right now in the breaks and in the timber. So, and that was a big one. He hunted with so many people that he's bringing in, his clients, his cousins, and friends. I'm going to name them real quick. Chris Ham, Carson Crouch, Will Rafford, Jake Spencer, Matt Manuel, Brian Farrell, and they're all limited out in the timber. So they're mostly mallards and gray ducks. So we got a first duck, Olivia Dozat, and a beautiful green-winged teal. What's so special about this? Her stepdaddy said it's so special because her mama's first duck was a green-winged teal. Her brother's first duck, green-winged teal. He says his whole living room will be covered with green-winged teal. And I want to congratulate to Tuna Dennison for sending me that.
So it's like mother, like brother, like sister, huh?
Yeah.
And daughter.
The word is right now, there are ducks showing up. The ones that have been bad, I can't wait to hear the area folk is the one that's normally good. Gator on them started off great. They ain't been killing any birds in there. No birds, like I said, in Catahoula. They weren't killing. All of a sudden they would kill them. They having to stay late to kill any birds at all. So the last week. So we'll find out.
The best part about being a member of a Touchstone Energy Cooperative is that it's your Touchstone Energy Cooperative. That's the power of your co-op membership.
Demco, your Touchstone Energy Cooperative.
Dose of the Coast is a nonprofit organization, and a lot of times life can become appointment to appointment. This shakes things up a little bit.
You know, the majority of the battle that you have is in your mind. When you get a chance to do something outdoors, I know for me, it's just a chance that you just get your mind off it. You start focusing on something different. Being in the outdoors, being on the water is great medicine.
If you or someone that you know could use a Dose of the Coast, you can go to doseofthecoast.org to apply or to nominate someone. And if you would like to volunteer, you can also reach us at our website under the contact form.
Aggressive, modern, and durable. The latest advancement in spinning has the Revo name on it, and almost a century of fishing expertise in it. No matter where your passion takes you, world-class fishing is only a Revo away.
Pods moving and storage.
We just sold our house.
Congratulations.
We have 2 weeks to move.
We'll deliver a few containers.
Our new home's not ready.
No problem. You can store things with us while you're between homes.
We might need help.
We'll refer trusted packers.
We'll be staying at my brother's.
Well, that sounds...
He has kids of his own.
Well...
5 of them.
Ma'am?
Help.
Trust us for local and long-distance moving and store at our storage centers. Pods, moving and storage, solved.
All right, on this episode of Dockside TV, we got a real early start. Started at the crack of dawn. Came out of the pass right here, crossed Lake Pontchartrain, had a beautiful sunrise rising right over the Twin Span. As we had approached our first stop, we fished some real shallow, grassy areas. Started off with some top water, threw a little jerk baits, and we were fishing real shallow stuff. you know, 1 to 2 foot of water, started picking off some nice trout, even caught a couple of bass and on top of some of the grass beds over there. Now, as the sun came up a little bit more, we decided to come back across Lake Pontchartrain and fish some deeper bayous and canals that we know that are holding grass on the shorelines. And like we said, and we've been preaching this over the last couple episodes, grass is the key until water temperatures get a little bit cooler. So when we get into the deeper canals, or when we got in there on this particular day, that we caught some really nice fish. And what we would do is we might go 10-20 minutes without a bite down a shoreline, but when we would catch one, it'd be nice schools of them packed in together within a 10 or 20 yard stretch, and we would just milk it out. And in this area, we was pretty much 90% throwing the matrix minnow jerkbait, ripping it right out of the grass, catching some pretty nice fish. All right, I switched over to the matrix shad, 3/8 ounce jig head, fishing a little bit deeper water. Started off with top waters this morning in the shallows, moved over to the jerkbait as the water temperature rose a little, and now it's midday and we're using the matrix shad. Just bumped into this good redfish right here. There's one with him. There's one with him.
You think if I just drop it?
film the...
You think there's... Oh,
Alright, just now we had a nice red hooked. When I got it right at the surface, right by the boat, there was another one with him trying to eat the lure out of his mouth. So Noah was trying to get him with his lure. He's still throwing the matrix minnow. So what I do, or what you always want to do when you do see that situation, is leave your fish right in the water, and you got a real good chance of doubling up. Unfortunately, my fish came unbuttoned. Not only did he not catch one, we missed them both. So it is what it is. Let's see if we can get a few more. All right, well, we had a really fun day fishing multiple spots, throwing top waters, jerk baits, matrix shads on the bottom. And all of these products that we use day in and day out can be found at matrixshad.com. And if you ever want to learn how to fish with all of these different items that we manufacture, simply watch all of our Dockside TV episodes that can be found on YouTube, Vimeo, matrixshad.com, and multiple other places. So I hope you enjoyed this video. Stay tuned for all our next ones coming up in the future, as we make one almost every other week. And until next time, good fishing.
And we hope you enjoyed that fishing feature and tips with Chaz Champagne of Dockside TV. You can always watch it if you just go to docksidetv.com. Getting to our Berkeley Abu Garcia fishing report, Gary, let's start off. Was there any offshore fishing at all? Cold weather, this time of year, not a lot of reports coming in.
I didn't hear. Nobody called, nobody hurt. A lot of the guys offshoring right now got their boats on dry dock and doing something, or they hunt. Even some of the captains are hunting right now. You know, Chris Moran and all them, his wife's a great big hunter. Her daddy has a place, a lodge, and them a hunting reserve. So I've been hearing nothing. You know, most of these guys are killing hogs and killing their deer and sitting in their stand. Same thing with Topfield. And them, I guess Ron Lambert just sitting there waiting on the ducks. But I see a lot of them going to high school championship games or whatever. So I ain't heard nothing on the fishing.
Well, if you have any offshore fishing reports, we'd love to get them. Just send them to us, Gary at ParadiseLouisiana.com, and include those pictures and photos and video like we explained to you in the last segment how to send them to us. Inshore saltwater, we heard, you know, one of the inklings come from Bayou Coast Kayak Fishing Club. 29 expert fishermen out there competing. Not one of them could catch a speckled trout. Speckled trout have been scarce because water temperature drops, they go deep, they go lethargic, it's hard to catch them.
The sun comes up and they'll move though.
You get a little activity
so you
there.
Doing it. And so that's another thing I was telling you about fishing in the wintertime. If you're not hunting or doing blast and cast, stay in the bed, stay there and watch the tides, okay, and watch the wind. But I notice when I'm fishing redfish in the wintertime, when I'm fishing all these ponds and in the marsh, I'm not fishing the lee side. I'm fishing the windy side because they burn that bait fish. The bait fish will start moving. They're seeing a lot of bait fish in Grand Isle right now. Tommy Vidrine and them was seeing minnows on top of the water. I hear people from Lake Pontchartrain and seeing glass minnows all around the bridges and the trusses. Still getting reports from the trusses. Ken Lambert and his brother Harold and them are going out, not catching many. Sometimes it's cold, they don't want to stay out there that long. And now, when the wicks will still be cold and wind's not blowing, you can still catch a lot of fish. The best way I've heard to catching them, use the same way. They're either catching Carolina rig, they're catching them drop shotting, or they're catching them with the slip cork. So that's where they are when they're fishing the bridge. The other place, plastics under a cork, everywhere you go. Chartreuse been a good bait, the mold bait, H&H sparkle beetle, Chaz and them, and naturally they fishing the matrix shad. 2 colors, they're catching a lot of bass. You know what most of the bass are being caught on? Live shrimp. That's everywhere. Down in Brenton Sound, Hopedale, Delacroix, the fish are being caught on live shrimp. It's a no-brainer. If you're going down there, you want to catch redfish, specks, and all 3, bring you some live bait. And most of the marinas I talked to got live bait. Dulac is another place I told y'all last year. We're seeing them coming in. Highway 11 bridge, Kevin Hale with his dad, they're fishing the Trestle Carolina rig. You see his catching that big fish. Guy sent me a picture. The Johnson family always sending me pictures. They tried to make a snowfish. Now, instead of snowman, they made a snowfish. I look at that tail. Tell me what you think it is. I think it's a Jack Gravel. I sent him back a letter and said, if you're gonna show a tail, you ought to show a redfish with a dot on it, huh? Look at this, look at that picture. The Wrigley's, Jimmy Durio, fishing live shrimp, caught a lot of specks, and his big redfish are running on. They also caught bass. And our longtime friend I ain't heard from, Bill Bingham, fishing Sabine with his family. He had his 2 daughters out there and his grandson, Owen. Caught redfish, caught specks, took some pictures, some pretty depth, also caught bass. Most of them they caught with bass. He said he caught almost 19 bass, and I'm glad he's coming back in, and that's all on the coast I got.
Well, one thing I want to add, Robbie Campo at Campo's Marina reminded me of something last week on the radio fishing reports. When the weather gets really cold, hard cold like this, and you're in an area where you got shallow marshes and you got deep canals or deep bayous, that's where those redfish are going to be. And that Bayou Lutry, which makes a loop all the way from Shell Beach to Hopedale, people gang up on the banks there. You don't even need a boat. Just get out there, fish on the bottom with dead shrimp, and most people come away easily catching their 5-fish redfish limit.
Well, if you fish in Leeville and those others, Tommy Vidrine and them are still fishing the rocks when they get out there. And people fishing off, especially when you got a north wind, a cold north wind, they're fishing. When you're going in the Grand Isle, you fish the right side. That north wind is coming across that road. The other side's usually muddy. The water be running through those culverts, the tide be high, and they fishing on that right bank on Highway 1. Cockahoe minnows, they're readily available at all the bait shops. Live shrimp, a tsunami. Y'all say I said salami. We talked about it last week, but a tsunami. Now,
I don't know. I heard they had a run at Rouse's on salami. You couldn't find a pack of it, or bologna. Both of them were out of stock last week.
Man, I tell you what, I love you. I don't know what I'm gonna do when you leave out here. But I'm gonna tell you this: that's the best fish report you can get. I know it's long, but it's very thorough and it makes sense. And these are people that don't lie to me. Now, going to freshwater.
All right, let's get to it.
I got some sac-a-lait reports that are unbelievable. Got some bass reports and some sac-a-lait reports from Pat's Bay. Anybody know where Pat's Bay? And in those areas, you're going back there, you can put in at Sorrel, you can put in even one up north from Pigeon, but most people you put in at Sorrel on this side. Jack Miller's, they fishing, catching some beautiful bass, and also if you get around those grass beds or back up in there around Bay Natchez, and they're catching sac-a-lait on a jig. They're catching black and chartreuse jig, or that the new jig what's name tells us about all the time. the Bobby Garland one that looks like a little flat tail. They got a blue color to it. That's what they catch them on. Old River, I got a call Sunday morning from David Pizzolata, usually asking for information, but David's getting real good right now. He says they've been catching the biggest sackler he caught in 2 or 3 years from Old River. They fishing the pollards on the piers, not the houseboats, enough stuff, but on the pollards on the pier, they're hugging the pollards, using that Bobby Garland bait in 8 to 10 foot of water. And he didn't send me any pictures, he said, but most of these sackler are running close to 2 pounds. And that is slab. So I got Rusty Capo was calling. We had death in our family. Rusty's stepdaddy and my uncle passed away, my Uncle Gus. But in the meantime, we started talking fishing. He said, Rusty said, man, he said, I went up there to watch them boys hunt. I didn't want to hunt and get out in the cold. I went out and got in a boat. He was fishing those lakes around Lake Natchez and Monterey, Black Lake, and all those areas. Took his jig. He said, another place, catching a big sackler. He didn't catch a lot of numbers, but all those lakes in that area right now catching big sackler.
Sackler, Chifuncta River. Keith Lusher sent me a picture. He fished with a couple of guys on the Chifuncta, fishing some structure kind of deep down and caught some really nice sackler. And our friend Mr. Green, he uses that Bobby Garland bait too. He's had some really nice trips in Bayou Lacombe catching sackler. And he'd tell you that's his favorite fish to catch.
I tell you what, both of them need to do a show with us. I'm gonna go over there and do a show and make sure we're doing it good. So see, that's what I love about being here. People coming in here right now, they want to talk. Then y'all can talk, and I'm getting ready when we get out of here.
Well, we're just about ready to get out of here, and maybe we'll leave the camera on and watch what you can do with this trailer here right here.
I'm gonna take it with me.
It's going, I know, some kind of way. Don't forget, send your information in, your photos, your videos, your reports, Gary@ParadiseLouisiana.com. And we'll be back again next week with another edition of Paradise, Louisiana.
Paradise, Louisiana is presented by Demco, your Touchstone Energy Cooperative. Pods, moving and storage solved. Baton Rouge Coca-Cola Bottling Company, Benny's Car Wash and Oil Change, Louisiana Fish Fry Products, and by CCA Louisiana and the CCA Louisiana Star Tournament.